Early voting records shattering across several states today with just 4 days left until Election Day. Officials report more than 60 million people have already cast their ballots in what could be one of the most consequential races in history. Voters in the battleground state of Georgia making sure their ballot is counted. More than 50% of people have already hit the polls. And take a look at the Georgia voting map here. A large share of those early votes coming in from white voters. Georgia is one of several battleground states that could sway this year's race. And today marks the last day of early in-person voting in that state. And Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump took a break from campaigning in Georgia to focus on Latino voters in the Southwest. The two candidates delivered remarks in Nevada. Harris leaned on star power to get her message across while rallying in Las Vegas. But Trump pivoted from his platform to set his sights on former Congresswoman Liz Cheney. He had this to say about Cheney during a fireside chat with Tucker Carlson in Arizona last night. Listen in.
His daughter is a very dumb individual, very dumb. She's a radical war hawk. Let's put her with a rifle standing there with 9 barrels shooting at her, okay? Let's see how she feels about it. You know, when the guns are trained on her face. You know, they're all war hawks when they're sitting in Washington in a nice building saying, oh, gee, let's send 10,000 troops right into the mouth of the enemy.
All right, I want to bring in CBS News political reporter Zak Hudak, who joins us now with more on all this. Zak, Liz Cheney responded to those comments from Trump in a post on X, and she said, quote, "This is how dictators destroy free nations. They threaten those who speak against them with death. We cannot entrust our country and our freedom on a petty, vindictive, cruel, unstable man who wants to be a tyrant." Now, this isn't the first time, though, we're seeing Trump criticize Republicans that simply don't support him. Do these comments impact his campaign this late in the race, though?
I think this is what we can expect at this stage with less than a week to go, that any slight misstep or any opportunity that the other candidate sees to seize on language that maybe should have been phrased a little differently is going to happen. On this particular issue with Liz Cheney, we've seen Liz Cheney on the campaign trail, a strategy from the Harris campaign to try to bring over some of those moderate Republicans who might object to some of Trump's rhetoric or might actually worry about Trump, what Trump would do if he were president again. Liz Cheney talked extensively on the trail about the danger she saw in a second Trump presidency. So this does, I think, play a factor for some of those voters. I think the voters who this probably resonates the most with, though, are women who VP Harris is leading tremendously by. And I think many of them will see this as yet another example of former President Trump speaking very harshly about a woman. There are men who have the same war hawk views that Liz Cheney has had, but he is singling out a female surrogate of Harris, and I think that'll resonate with some of the female voters out there.
Yeah, speaking of VP Harris, we're also learning about her plans for election night. Her campaign says she will be at Howard University. What does this moment mean for the vice president?
This is a homecoming of many sorts for her. It is a place that is central to her identity as a candidate. She talks about her time at Howard often, and it also reinforces her identity as a black woman. She's had to confront on the trail former President Trump, claiming at times that she is not, in fact, African American. So this is her going back to the best known, most respected HBCU in the country where she graduated, and she's holding that event there because, frankly, it's a major part of who she is as a candidate and as a person.
Zak Hudak with one of the best names in TV news, covering all things election for us. Thanks so much for that reporting, Zak. Zak Hudak.